Hi guys, so I'm going to be addressing my situation with Paultooreal.
He was touching a lot of the girls there. He was like one of the only guys. There was like 3 guys. It was him, my boyfriend, and one of my boyfriend's best friends. So those are pretty much the only guys that were there. Paul was touching a lot of the girls, like on their thighs, touching their arms, their shoulders, all of that. So just touching a lot of girls.
None of the other allegations or accusations are true. Literally not one other one. Listen to that clearly. If any of that was true, I would own up to it right now.
You guys, this Paultooreal situation has officially gotten too real. And yes, I knew you were thinking it, and I wasn't about to waste the opportunity to say it. Because just when everyone thought that the drama might finally be dying down, another female victim has come forward. And her story, it is not only disturbing on its own, but it lines up way too well with everything we've already heard about Paul. We're talking about allegations of at his parties, being passed around, people blacking out, racial slurs, physical fights, police getting involved, and yes, she says she saw it all happen. And if that wasn't enough, there is still another girl in this video whose account makes Paul look even worse. So let's start from the very beginning with the first girl who says that she is not famous, not an influencer, no big platform, but still ended up getting an invite to one of Paul's parties.
I was at his party. I'm not like famous, but I had 1 million followers and then I got banned. But I got invited.
At first, it sounded harmless, you guys. Summer dress, some dancing, no alcohol, almost prom night vibes. She says it even seemed like something safe enough for younger guests. But if you have ever been to a so-called no alcohol high school party, you know that rule is basically the first one that people break. And in this case, things escalated fast. Now, a little while into the night, she notices Paul slipping away from his own party, which is already weird. Like, who throws a party just to disappear? She says he heads off with some mystery girl and a few of his close friends. And of course, curiosity takes over, so she follows them. And you guys, what she walks in on is straight out of a bad teen drama. 2 blonde guys in black hoods approach Paul. She says they're carrying bags of pills and some weird green plant, and they're not exactly being subtle about it. She watches as they literally hand this stuff over to him, and instead of me paraphrasing, here's the girl herself explaining exactly what she saw go down in the moment.
So I decided to follow them because I don't really have anywhere to go because all my other friends left. That's when I saw these 2 guys. I could tell who they were, but they had bleached blonde hair and it's like messy blonde brown hair, and they look quite the same. I'm not gonna name names because I don't know who it was, but they were wearing like black hoods, and then I saw them come up to Paul and they had like bags of pills and some weird like green plant thing. I don't know what it was, but I saw them handing it to Paul. He seemed really drunk.
Is it just me, or how do you even get that wasted at your own dry party? This is where it goes from sketchy to straight up dangerous. She claims that these guys then tried to offer the to Zuza, who, as y'all already know, is a minor. And Zuza hasn't even spoken about it publicly yet because, hello, the police could get involved. She says that she pulled Zuza away before things could get worse, and you can hear her explain it herself.
And they tried to offer it to Zuza. She hasn't spoken about this because the police could literally get involved. But why the hell are you offering that to her? Anyways, I took her out there and we went to the main party.
But the fact that this even happened, yeah, that is next level alarming. Now, after that incident, they head back to the main party, trying to pretend that nothing just happened, but she can't shake the feeling that something else is going on. And sure enough, she notices more random guys heading toward the same back area where Paul was before. At this point, it's like, do you stay in the main crowd or do you see what's really going on? She chooses the latter. She goes back and she finds Paul passed out. And it's not like a oops, I need water pass out. We're talking ambulance gets called, party is over, passed out.
An ambulance had to be called because Paul had literally fainted due to, you know, you see on his TikTok, he has claimed to have tried the drugs.
But Before the paramedics even get there, Paul allegedly wakes up swinging. She says he was trying to hit anyone who came close, even her. And in the middle of this chaos, he drops the N-word again. There's even a moment where a girl from the girl house tries to hold him back.
He tried to punch me in the face. Anyways, this man was like yelling at everyone, calling me slurs. And that's when he said the N-word.
That's the exact clip blowing up on TikTok right now. People are stitching it, duetting it, slowing it down, you name it. But Paul's defense? It's AI. You guys, that clip doesn't sound like Siri lost her mind. It sounded exactly like him.
Alcohol.
Yeah, I don't want to get addicted to weed. I'm already addicted to
No, that's fat.
Yo, that's how I go. Like the second I
I'll probably do it eventually, but...
Of course, after that, the police show up and things somehow get worse. As they're dragging him out, she claims he tried to grab at a group of younger girls nearby, and at that point she says she was done. She just left. And honestly, can you blame her? Now, I know y'all are probably thinking it can't get any worse from here, but there's yet another girl who came forward and exposed Paul. And yes, she was there that night, and no, I am not talking about Sky M because she claimed there was drinking, but only to cover up for a friend. In case you missed that part, here is a quick recap clip of that.
And the only reason I said I was drinking is because I was covering for a friend. And that was before that person said some hurtful things. If I could go back, I wouldn't do that. But I don't drink, okay? Like, you guys, like, all you're gonna have to do is take my word.
Now, moving on. Gidget Jones, that's another one of Paul's victims, and while she says she doesn't even consider herself a victim, what she went through is exactly what people have been calling Paul out for. So Gidget starts off saying she's not here to shame Paul for drinking or smoking, but you guys, what she is calling out is the hypocrisy. Because this is the same man posting about his relationship with God and telling people a relationship without Jesus is just lust. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, he's out here doing the very same stuff he's preaching against. She makes it clear there was no peer pressure, but also no sober people in that room. Everyone was drinking.
First off, I'd like to say I don't consider myself a victim. I'm not a victim in this situation. I was uncomfortable, but I don't consider myself a victim. I also want to say that I'm not trying to shame Paul in any way for drinking or smoking because I'm not really one to talk, but I just think it's really hypocritical. A lot of the things he posts about his relationship with God and stuff like that, and then he, behind closed doors, he chooses to do things like that in secret.
And this is where the red flags start waving. Gidget says that Paul was touching a lot of the girls that night, thighs, arms, shoulders, just being all over them. He was one of the only guys there, and she felt like he was taking advantage of that. At first, she didn't think too much of it because everyone else there was single except for her, but then even with her boyfriend right there, Paul touched her thigh. She says she immediately pulled away and avoided him for the rest of the night because, in her words, F-word weirdo.
He was touching a lot of the girls there. He was like one of the only guys. There was like 3 guys. It was him, my boyfriend, and one of my boyfriend's best friends. So those are pretty much the only guys that were there. Paul was touching a lot of the girls, like on their thighs, touching their arms, their shoulders, all of that, just touching a lot of girls. Everybody there was single, except for me. So at first I didn't really think that much of it until he touched me. And he knew I had a boyfriend too, and my boyfriend was right there. He touched my thigh. I like kind of swiped his hand away. And then the rest of the night I kind of avoided him because weirdo. But yeah, all of that went down, and then that same night he made out with this girl. Sure, you guys have seen some pictures of them together. Yeah, they made out that night. I've seen some rumors that they had sex. As far as I know, that's not true. I don't think that's true.
Here is where the chaos starts. Gidget posted a short clip on her Snapchat story with the caption, "Why is everybody me riding Paul?" Because at that point, the vibe was weird. Everyone was surrounding him like he was the main event, even though, as she puts it, we all knew what kind of person he was and had literally joked about him eventually getting canceled. Here's her calling it out.
I'd also like to speak about how this video got out into the world. I posted it on my Snapchat story, a private Snapchat story, and I put the text, "Why is everybody meat riding Paul?" Because they were. I mean, it was a party and everybody's on the bed surrounding Paul. Like, let's get a life. Anyways, I posted that video on my Snapchat story. Why is everybody meat riding Paul? Somebody, I am not 100% sure who. Somebody screen recorded it and posted it to TikTok. That's where this all began.
Then someone else recorded it and posted it to TikTok, and that's when things really blew up. Gidget says that she was on a cruise, barely on her phone, when suddenly Paul and a bunch of girls she's not even friends with anymore start blowing up her messages. According to her, Paul was one of the first to text, just spamming please, 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 and asking her to take the video down. At first, she thought he was talking about her Snapchat story, but then someone sent her the TikTok and she realized the whole internet had already seen it. She says she didn't post it the first time, but once it was out there and people started calling it AI, she decided to give others more pictures and videos from that night so that people could see the truth.
I had barely been on my phone, and then all of a sudden, my phone's getting blown up by Paul and by a bunch of girls who I'm not really friends with anymore. And I was a little confused. Anyways, Paul texts me. One of the first things he says, he's just like, please, please, please. And I texted back and I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you begging me for? And he's like, can you take that video down? Can you, take that video down?
And here's where Paul really messed up. Gidget says when she confronted him about touching her thigh, he admitted that he was drunk, even though this was right after he arrived, which means he either drank before coming or drove there drunk. So now we've got yet another girl talking about the same kind of stuff, the drinking, the inappropriate touching, the begging people to take videos down, all happening at Paul's parties. And every single time, instead of owning up, he either denies it or blames something else. At this point, you guys, it's not just he said, she said, it's multiple stories with the same details. And after all these girls have come out with their stories, Paul finally decides to speak up. He starts off saying not everyone even knows what's being said about him, but for the people who do, he's ready to talk. And in his words, the ones sharing these stories are just trying to cancel him. He says the only thing that actually happened is he went to a party, drank, and tried nicotine. He admits he used the word addicted while he was drunk, but claims that he's not actually addicted and he regrets that night. Everything else he calls lies, saying the rest are just twisted stories, fake Snapchat accounts, AI videos, and story times from strangers he's never even met. Paul also says that people are digging up his old posts and trying to twist them to make him look bad, which according to him, they were just jokes or trending memes at the time. And when it comes to all the relationship rumors, he says taking a picture or video with a girl doesn't mean they're dating. He swears he's only had a few serious relationships and says he's been open about them when they were real. He ends by saying he's not apologizing for things he didn't do, owns up to the one mistake he's already admitted, and calls the rest full-scale cyberbullying. And he's making it clear he is not going to let lies or cancel culture define him. Take a listen to what he had to say.
None of the other allegations or accusations are true. Literally not one other one. Listen to that clearly. If any of that was true, I would own up to it right now. People have made fake Snap accounts that look like my profile, but there's things that are a little bit different about them, but just to try to accuse me of things that I would never do. They've made fake AI videos, and they've made story times of people who I've never even met before. Some screenshots of old humorous posts that I've made have been brought up again to try to make me look bad and criticized as if I was actually being serious. If you look at the original posts, you can tell that I was obviously being humorous. Some of those were trends that I joined in on, and most of my content is meant to make you smile or laugh. Twisting the context of these posts is another tactic that these cyberbullies have been doing to me the past few weeks. Also, let's talk about another situation that has been twisted around and I've been accused about the past few weeks. Taking a photo or making a video with the girl does not mean she's my girlfriend. A lot of influencers are girls and they're also my friends. We go on brand trips and we take photos together. And we make content, and that's just what influencers do. Have I ever said that any of them are my girlfriend in my content? No. I've only had a few serious relationships, and when it's serious enough, I've shared it with you guys. And that's all there is to know about my relationships with girls.
But here's the thing. Paul's now trying to flip this and make himself the victim. And look, bottom line, if you're doing the kinds of things these girls are accusing Paul of, believe me, if I don't call it out, someone else will. And now, with more girls hinting that they've got their own stories to tell, and some even teasing that they have receipts that haven't been posted yet, it's starting to feel like this might just be the calm before the storm.